Hello, and thank you for joining us today for Astute's ACE Pre-Built Dashboards and KPI Virtual Workshop. The workshop will start in just a moment, but before we get started, we have just a couple of housekeeping items to take care of. Go ahead and log into the live lab environment now. You should have received an email this morning with the subject Oracle Analytics Virtual Workshop login details. That'll have this URL that's shown here, a specific user ID for you. It'll be OAC user and a specific number that only applies to your login, and then the password welcome1, which everyone will use. If you did not receive that email this morning, go ahead and put the email address that you registered with in the Q&A box that's to the right on your screen, and we'll provide you your user ID that way. If you don't see the Q&A box, you can open it from the widgets at the bottom of the screen. You can see that here too. Finally, go ahead and download the workbook for today's workshop and any other information in the Resources Center that appeals to you. There's lots of good links and assets there that you can take advantage of for further information on this excellent topic. So in just a moment, we will get started. Okay, hopefully that gave everyone time to log into the live lab environment. There will be a few minutes of presentation. If you're not completely finished, that's all right. Go ahead and do that while you're listening. Today we are fortunate to have Joe Finlinson, the CTO at Astute Business Solutions, and he's going to take you through the presentation and the hands-on labs. Over to you now, Joe.
Hello, and welcome to part 2 of our workshop webinar on Analytics Cloud Enablement, ACE, which is a package service solution to assist with adoption and implementation of Oracle Analytics Cloud. I am your facilitator today, and my name is Joe Finlinson. I am the CTO at Astute Business Solutions, and I'm really excited to be talking to you today. I promise that we'll keep the slides short so that we can jump right into the lab and you can get your hands on OAC and see some of the value that ACE will bring to your OAC implementation. So, moving on to the next slide. OAC plus ADW, the ideal analytics solution. We talked a little bit about this a couple weeks ago and really just want to come back to this again. The power behind autonomous data warehouse and the autonomous database, plus the value that Oracle has put into the Oracle Analytics Cloud, really makes a beautiful solution that brings almost immediate business value, which is something that is unusual in the technology world, because you usually have to do things like build and design, and you end up going to a whole bunch of effort just to get going. Whereas this is a solution that you can purchase. You can purchase the ACE enablement package right on top of ADW, and in a matter of days you'll be up and running, and you'll be seeing value from your data immediately. In my career, that's something that you just don't see very often. It doesn't happen very often. So when it does, and when you do see it, it really makes for some exciting times. And we'll see that more in the lab today when we get to it. But again, this slide is really just to try and talk a little bit about some of the value that you're going to get right out of the box with the solutions. We've talked about autonomous, just a few of these things on Oracle Analytics Cloud. Self-service data discovery, augmented analytics, natural language querying, and report writing. Pretty cool. Mobile first, integrated data preparation. This is something that makes things go pretty quickly. We're not going to dive into that in the lab today, but it would definitely be worth a follow-up conversation. Pre-built data connectors, and definitely something that is enterprise scale and ready to go. Okay, so coming back around, we talked about this again before, the blank canvas syndrome. And you'll see today in our lab that there literally is a canvas upon which you can place visualizations. And it does, by default, start blank. And the power of the OAC ACE package is that we are helping you get over the blank canvas syndrome by bringing some canned analytics to you. And the way that we're doing that is that we understand data, and we've pre-built some data models. And the ones we're going to look at today are largely around PeopleSoft financials, but you could do that for your point of sale system. You could do that for your HR system. You could do that for even your clinical system if you were in healthcare. And the point is, Astute has gone to the work to build the data model so that you don't have to. And this means that all you really have to do is aggregate the data and bring it in, and you are immediately able to see valuable, real dashboards. So we talked about some of the business challenges of classic BI, those being the fact that there's a learning curve, that the tools historically were difficult to use. Poor requirements made it so that it was really difficult to actually build something, because you didn't often know what you wanted to build when you set out to build it. You just knew that you wanted something. Understanding data governance, where data is, who owns it, how it's organized, and then of course resources. Everyone's busy. We've all got lots of projects going on, and sometimes it's hard just to carve out time for another project. And that's where we feel that ACE really brings value to your solution. So you saw this slide before again, yeah, and I promised that we were going to keep it short on slides. I just want to kind of review what the ACE program is bringing to this today, so that you have some background and some context for what you're seeing in the lab. When we get into the lab, you're going to see a dashboard that is pre-built. You're going to see data that's already brought into OAC. If you didn't have the ACE package, when you arrived at the, when you signed into OAC, you would basically see a blank canvas, and you would get to, the first thing you'd have to do is build a data model and get the data in, and then you'd have to start thinking about how you wanted to visualize that data, which is not terribly difficult, but it takes time. So the value in the ACE package is that we've taken the time to build the data model. We've built out templates for some systems like PeopleSoft. We've even gone so far as to be able to populate the templates. We've done the mapping so that it's set to go, and literally all you have to do is show up with your data, and we pre-aggregate it, and it shows up, and you get into OAC, and you've got beautiful analyses right out of the gate. So we accelerate the time to value by bringing data, overcoming the requirements issue because we've already built out some of the analyses that you'll need based on common requirements that we see across all of our customers. We're going to help you combat the learning curve by providing you with 2 days of training, 1 day on OAC itself and 1 day on the actual data and dashboards that we're bringing to you. And resource availability, we're compressing what historically would have been a multi-week, multi-month project, and we brought it down to a 2-week engagement on a fixed fee, fixed timeline schedule, so that you can really get in and get in, see your data, and have something to show for it in a very short amount of time. So again, to review what the project plan looks like, typically day 1 we would do a workshop. Day 2 through 5 we're really working out the kinks of integration, really just making sure that we can get your systems mapped into OAC correctly, usually over a VPN, sometimes over sometimes we're doing flat files over a VPN, sometimes we're doing database connections over VPN. It really depends on your environment. So we have 4 days set out for that. And then beginning the second week, which is kind of where all the magic happens, we do the training. We help you do a little bit of custom build just to show you how you can extend the solution. And then we wrap on the 10th business day. So again, all of that for $10,000 plus your OAC subscription, which would probably be about $20,000 to $25,000. So all in $35,000, and you have a working solution in 2 weeks. It's a pretty awesome deal. So we've got this picture, this slide here with a picture of lots of different people, and that's because I'm trying to bring out the idea that ACE is for everyone. It doesn't matter what your system of record is. It doesn't matter where that data lies. You can bring that data into OAC with ACE and begin visualizing it immediately. Some candidates would be people who are running OBIEE or OBIA on-premise today, people running non-Oracle BI on-premise, people running BI analytics in the cloud today, maybe even an older version of OAC, the BI cloud service, or people that aren't doing any analytics at all. Really, this is a solution that democratizes your data and is wholly inclusive and can bring everyone right in. So some frequently asked questions that we thought we would maybe just head off here at the very beginning. So what are the advantages of ACE? Why use ACE from Astute? Well, hopefully this presentation up to this point has helped you with that, is that we're bringing our expertise and our knowledge to the table, and we're also bringing a pre-built data model so that you can hit the ground running. You can jump right in and get the value out of your data. This Jumpstart enables customers to really explore their data more quickly, and it'll equip you with the skills you need to get what you need out of the tool. What tools are used for data management? Well, we can support several. We can do ETL or non-ETL, depending on how you're set up and really what your appetite is for how you'd like to manage the data. For some people, that might be just a simple report that's spitting out a flat file that we can bring in. Some people, that might be a database link, and for some people, that may very well be an ETL. But it's not as complicated as ETL used to be. What pre-built dashboards are available in ACE? So we've pre-built OAC dashboards for procure to pay, credit to cash, workforce analytics, and sales analytics. And we're happy to do more. You just need to ask, and we would be more than happy to build out a dashboard for your specific area, just as a part of the cost of the $10,000 project, because we believe that there's incredible value in getting you into this solution. Another question, how long does it take to implement OAC with ACE? As we said, 2 weeks for 10K, straight in. Does ACE work with all PeopleSoft pillars? What about older versions? The answer there is yes. You can use ACE with any level of PeopleSoft that you have, even if you were running back in the old 8.x versions. You could bring that data right into ACE immediately. You could bring that data right into OAC with ACE immediately, and you wouldn't have any problems. Does your database need to be in the cloud? No. OAC can connect to cloud and on-prem systems, and it doesn't discriminate. They are the same. Can ACE connect to Hyperion? Answer is yes, and it works really nicely. Would ACE benefit utility billing systems? Yes, the answer is that OAC and ADW can produce insights from Oracle CC&B and help customers visualize data in many different ways, including actual costs compared with estimates, inventory analysis and inventory levels by year, quarter, and month, cost and expenditure analysis, work order analysis to identify assets that require the most work. Okay, so those are the frequently asked questions. And again, a quick call to action before we jump into the lab. Again, if not now, when? Feel free to take ACE for a test drive. We can set you up on an instance that we have. And if you'd like to bring your data into that instance, we can do that and let you look at it for a short amount of time. Or you could just straight up engage with us in the $10,000 2-week offer. We'd love to meet with you and help you get a quick win, make you look really great in front of your sponsors and stakeholders who really want to get at their data. So again, bring us your use cases. We want to work with you. We want to develop with you. And with that, we will jump right into the lab. Okay, welcome to the lab portion of this webinar, this workshop. So we're going to follow the instructions that are on the PDF. I'm also going to walk through them here for your benefit. We're going to start by opening up our browser to Oracle Analytics Cloud. And you should be or should have received a link and a username and password that you can use. The screen should look a lot like this. And I'm going to go ahead and log in. So once you've logged in, your screen will look a lot like this. And some things that you should know, up here we have a menu, home, there's a create button to let you create a project, data sets, data flows, sequences, conditions. Another thing that we can do here is we can close this Get Started window. You have a search box here that you could use. This area of the window paints with recently used analyses. Jumping in the instructions on to section 1.3, you'll see that we want to navigate to projects, and we want to open this PSAP ACE demo. And so what we're doing here is we're loading the pre-populated accelerator package that Astute has built that should help you get going with Oracle Analytics more quickly than if you had to do it yourself. And the first thing we can do when we start here is we can click this little cancel button. So you should see a screen that looks a lot like the screen that I'm showing you here now. And you can see that this window has really 6 or 7 major pieces. You have the main title window. You have the project window, and here you can see that the project that we're working on is called PSAP ACE Demo. And you have some options here to prepare, to visualize, to narrate. And you have some choices as to how you'd like to save. You can make it autosave, you can have it save, or you could save it as something else. Over here, we're going to call this the Data Explorer. And you can see here that we've loaded, this is one of the Astute pre-aggregated data sets, PSAP demo. You can see we've also got one for GL. We've also got one for purchase orders. When you click on this button, it's going to change from the Data Explorer to a Visualization Explorer. You can see that I can just scroll down there. And this one's the Analytics Explorer. We're going to just go back to the Data Explorer here and re-expand the PSAP demo, just to show you here again in the Data Explorer that if you click on Business Unit, you'll see the bottom will change and it will show you what we're looking at. The name is Business Unit, it's being treated as an attribute, its data type is text, and it's not aggregated. But if you were to click on Gross Amount, you can see here that gross amount is a measure, its data type is number, and its aggregation is sum. Okay, so that's the Data Explorer. And after the Data Explorer, we kind of come on to this side piece here, and we call this a canvas. And you can add additional canvases if you want. We're not going to spend a lot of time there today, but you can add additional canvases if you wanted to. The canvas that we're working on is called the AP Analysis Canvas. And the canvas consists of 2 pieces. There's the visualizations piece, and there's this other piece over here. When you hover over it, it's called the grammar panel. And the grammar panel is there to really show you how a particular visualization is working. So for example, we're looking at this one, which is gross amount by invoice date by month, and we've also got outliers highlighted, and you can see that the outliers are getting a color. The x-axis is the invoice date, and the y-axis is the gross amount. So we can click on this little button down here in the bottom right to be able to hide the Explorer and this other piece, just to give you some more screen real estate. Okay, and that should finish out that section where we're kind of introducing things. So next we're going to move on to exercise 2, which is where we're going to try and learn from our data. and really going to just kind of ask some questions and give you a little bit of time to be able to work through the answer, and then I'll work through the answer with you. So here in section 2, I'm going to basically just pause here and let the recording run for maybe about 3 minutes while you try and work through exercises 2.1 through 2.8. And in 3 minutes, I will come back and I will walk through the exercise with you. So don't worry if you're not able to do it on your own. But we'll come back here in just about three minutes. So why don't you work on exercises 2.1 through 2.8. Okay, so coming back, the first question is, what is the filter set for the current page? If we look here, we can see that the filter set, so every visualization on this page is filtered by invoice date, and it's filtering on a range from August 1st of 2014 through July 31st of 2017. And again, we're looking at PeopleSoft demo data. So if we were doing this in your environment, it would look a lot better because you have lots of PeopleSoft data running through your system all the time. We're just using a demo environment, so we're using the data that's available to us. But the filter set is invoice date. Everything that you see here is filtered by invoice date. So the next question is, how many rows are encompassed in this data set? And that's this one right here. 3,481 rows are encompassed in the data set. So we're looking at 3,481 invoices. Well, 3,481 voucher lines, detail voucher lines for this date range. 2.3. In which month were the most vendors used? Okay, so this visualization down here counts vendors by invoice date, and you can kind of hover over and you can see that it's showing you, when we hover over, how many vendors. You can see count vendor for invoice date by month, and looks like the month is going to be March of 2016, and in that month we used 16 vendors. Okay, next question. In July of 2016, how many vouchers were issued to Cardinal Healthcare? Okay, so how are we going to know that? Well, this graph here, this visualization, shows voucher count by invoice date, by month, and vendor name. So we can hover over here and we can see there's July of 2016. So another thing that we can do to make this a little bit easier, so we can click on this button here, which will make the visualization bigger, kind of take up the window. You can close it down really quickly by just clicking the X there, but we can make it bigger. And when you come through here, we can see that we're looking for July of 2016, May, okay, so in July of 2016, we issued 8 vouchers to Cardinal Healthcare. You can see that on this lovely graph here. Okay, next question. What does the trend of vouchers associated with purchase orders look like? Okay, so this one maybe was a little tricky. Percent on purchase order by invoice date by month. And one of the great features of OAC is the ability to drop in a trend line. And I believe we can do that here by right-clicking. And we can say, Add Statistics, Trend Line. And you can see here that it draws the trend line right in for us. This one may have been tricky. You may not have been able to get it on your own, but that's totally okay. But just notice how easy it was to bring that in. Okay, 2.6. What can be learned from the visualization showing gross amount by invoice date by month with outliers? Well, what we can see here is that one of the things that we added when we added statistics on this one, we added the outliers. And what that means is that the machine learning is actually going through the data set and looking at what looks normal and what doesn't look normal. And you can see here that it's colored the data points as outliers or non-outliers, or in some cases unclassified, probably meaning that there wasn't enough data there for it to be statistically significant. So here we can see that June 2016 to spend $42 million, whatever happened there in the demo data set, that is seen as an outlier. Pretty cool that it can just find that for you so you don't have to do it. Next question is, which account had the most spend? So we have gross amount by account name, and you can see that the largest one was 20.6%. You hover over there and you can see that we spent $18 million on computer supplies. Okay, so the next question's a little tricky. Find the departments that generated the spend for the account in 2.7. And this shows you, we're going to show you in this little exercise how easy it is to be able to further refine the data set. So if I just right click in here, I can say use as filter, and now it's added that we've added a filter here by gross amount by account name. You can see the funnel to show that we're filtering here. And if I click on the account, you just saw all of my visualizations, were repainted based on this account. And so now you can look at these departments, and you can also scroll over here. You can look at these departments to find out that information systems, 2 information systems departments, probably across different business units, spent the most on computer supplies, and that would make sense. And the other thing that you can see here, and again, we're still going over the same date range, 478 records instead of the 3,000 we were looking at before. We can also see where that spend occurred. Okay. So that will take us through, click on the slice a little bit, that will take us through exercise 2. So next, oh no, there was one more question. Sorry about that. 2.9, which business unit spent the most money? So when we look at this, we can hover over here and we can see this box diagram, and we can clearly see that the darkest, biggest box was the business unit US 001, where the most money was spent. Okay, so the next thing that we can do so that we can reset the view here is you can just click on this little arrow to go back and don't save, and it will bring you back to the home page. And on the home page, you can now go back into our demo analysis, and it's all back the way that it was. Okay, so this next exercise is going to show you how to use filters to find insights, and we'll do this one together instead of just letting you try and figure it out on your own. So we want to add more filters to our data set. So right now we're filtered by invoice date, but suppose that we also wanted to be able to filter by business unit and account. So if we look at our data browser, we can find if we look at our data browser, we can find the business unit, which is right here at the top, and we can actually click on that, and we can drag it over here. You can see that it turns into that plus, and you can see that it's business unit there. We can drag that over, and we can add it just like that. And then inside here, we can search for a business unit. So we know that most of the spend came out of US 001, and maybe we want to see all the spend in US 001, and we can do that by US 001, and you can see it automatically filtered. When you click on that, it's going to add the selection, and you saw automatically that it repainted everything to show us just this business unit now. That's pretty cool. And the next exercise, we're now at 3.5. 3.5 would say, let's do the same thing for department name and account name. So if we scroll down here and we grab department name and we pull it over, and next we grab account name and we pull it over, and in instruction 3.6 it says that we should filter for the department called training and education. So we can click over here and we can type training, and you can see training and education comes right up. We can click on it. So now you can see in your data set, it redrew for training and education, that we're seeing all of the training and education expenses. And maybe we want to see office supplies. And before, when we wanted to see a single account, we talked about how you could right click here and you could use this as a filter. But because we have the filter up here, you can also just click here and type in office. There's office supplies. And now you can see 100% office supplies, 100% training and education. You can see the vouchers for the voucher for office supplies. There was one voucher. It was issued to Eastern Bay Office Supplies. It was on PO, and that voucher or that PO probably had 10 lines on it. Okay, that's pretty cool. But it also seems like at this point that we're probably missing a piece of information, which is, well, how much did we actually spend? Now, of course, we were able to find spend at this point by hovering. We can see a gross amount there, but maybe we want to make that easier. And we're going to do that here in the next exercise, which is exercise 4 of adding a visualization to the canvas. We can do that by going to the Data Explorer and clicking over here on the visualizations bar, scrolling down until we find tile. And let's say we want to add another tile, and we're going to do that by clicking it and just dragging it over here. And it's going to add it right on top. And now we need to populate this tile with the information. And the information that we want to populate it with is going to be the gross amount. So if we click gross amount and we bring this over here and we want it to be a value, $684.50, and that is exactly what we saw down here with the box chart. So you can see it was really easy to add another visualization to the data set. All you had to do was go over to the visualization, select the one you wanted, and drag it onto the canvas. And that kind of takes you through the bit about the part of this demo where we wanted to show you how powerful it would be to adopt Astute Business Solutions ACE program, Analytics Cloud Accelerator, for Oracle Analytics Cloud, because it will basically bring in the ability for you to be able to get at your data very quickly without having to do any data modeling. So going back, the last thing I kind of want to show you is just how powerful this data engine can be. If we look at different data sets, so maybe this time now we're going to look at PS demo, and we're going to look at account, and we say, PSGL demo, and we right click on this and we can say explain account. Now it comes back and it says, we're sorry, we're not able to run this request. There were over 100 unique values on account. Maybe we should try and find business unit. Okay, so this is a better example. So now what it's doing is the machine is actually going in and it's finding basic facts about the business unit from the general ledger, and it's telling us that there are 42 values across 187,000 rows, and the most common one is WC Gen. And it's also shown another version where you can kind of see the monetary amount. So what's been posted to the general ledger by business unit. And it's really easy to add these to a visualization. You just have to click on them. Another thing you can do is you can look at key drivers of a business unit. And here what it does is the system starts comparing the data that you have in that table against all the other data in the table and tries to figure out what that could mean. So we could be talking about currencies to row counts. We could be talking about percentage of dock types. Here we're looking at the system that something came from. And here we're talking about a specific ledger. So what percentage of the transactions belonged by business unit to a certain ledger. Maybe we want to add that as well. So then you hit add selected, and all of a sudden it brings up a new canvas that already has these visualizations in it, and you didn't even have to build them. So again, this is just kind of rounding out the demo for Oracle Analytics Cloud, showing you how much power there really is here, how easy it is to use, and again, to kind of show you that with our ACE package, we can bring the data right in for you, and you can literally have you can be building analytics and seeing analytics on your data set in a matter of days, not even hours, not days, weeks, or months. And we think that this is a really great product, and we'd love to talk with you more about it. We'd love to help you on your analytics journey. Something to remember is that, yes, we've shown you PeopleSoft here today, but really, if you have any kind of data, we have templates to fill that you can bring this data in, and you can get these pretty charts really easily. It doesn't matter if we're talking about CRM data or health data or sales data or procurement data or general ledger data, financial data, human resources data. It's all there, and we have acceleration packages around all of it. And we really hope that this lab has been useful for you today. And we hope to be hearing from you or talking to you soon at either in a one-on-one situation or at a conference that you'll be attending sometime soon. So thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.
Thank you, Joe, and thanks to everyone who joined us today. This will conclude the audio portion of our broadcast. We will stay on the line for the next 15 to 30 minutes to answer your questions, so go ahead and submit them in the Q&A chat window to the right. Also, make sure to take advantage of all of the great resources in the resource list before you sign out of the webcast console. There's the Try ACE that Joe described earlier. You can also watch a webcast that Joe did a couple weeks ago that dove deeper into the ACE solution and the value it can bring to your company. So make sure to take advantage of those excellent resources. And the live lab environment will be open until 5 p.m. Pacific time today, so you can continue working in that environment for the rest of the day. Make sure you take full advantage of that. I hope you enjoyed the workshop. Please do give us any questions that you have in the chat window now, and have a terrific day.